Okay, we are live. Uh, so, do you need to get new glasses, or what's the deal?
No, I just got new glasses, but I think I need to go and have them adjusted because I don't think they're
Oh,
sitting on my face correctly. So,
right.
hopefully that will get done tomorrow. So that's the plan.
Okay. And do you have progressive lenses?
I do. Yep.
Yeah. Aren't they just a peachy thing to get used to?
They are. Actually, I really loved my last ones. I think I've gotten that maybe the last 2 years. So this would be the third year. And I really did like them, but it's like when I got these, it was like the more time went on, it's like, this is not getting any better. Something's not right. So I
Yeah.
called and she said they probably just need to be adjusted because when
Yeah.
I put them like this,
Yeah.
I can see like I should. But, I can't walk around like that. So when they
Yeah.
actually sit where they're supposed to, I'm like doing this, trying to see because I can't see good. It's like I got
It,
glasses, I'm still blind. So,
yeah. Well, I guess if your previous pair was better, you could wear those in the meantime. I have a number of pairs of glasses that are still flattering, still in style. The prescription really hasn't changed, but I have one of those heads that I cannot change my glasses from one day to the next because I get a headache and I need that period of adjustment.
oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely had a headache when I don't know, it probably lasted about 3 days when I went to these glasses. But it was like, don't take them off, leave them on. Don't take them off, leave them on. You got to
Yeah.
get used to them. So, but
Well,
yeah, I still don't think they're sitting correctly.
that reminds me of my husband. Couldn't get used to a new pair of glasses for the longest time. And, when too much time went on, he finally went back to the optometrist and said, "There's something wrong with these glasses." Well, the
Right.
prescription had been cut wrong.
Oh my
It was the
gosh.
wrong,
Okay.
wrong lenses. So,
Yeah.
you can try to force yourself to get used to something that isn't isn't right. Anyway,
Right.
let's say hi to the people who are here so far. So we've got Denise, we've got Teresa, we got Beth, who is Happy Place Crafting, and I just want to say, Teresa, I hear through the grapevine, aka Carol, that you did a wonderful job of being like the Walmart greeter and being very friendly to the people in the chat and welcoming them and so on. So thanks so much for doing that. Um, So let's get into this. It's episode 20 of Heart to Heart, and my guest today is Lorie from Enchanted Dreams. And for the people who are tuning in, who knows? Maybe you're tuning in to see Lorie, and maybe you're tuning in to hear the latest harvest report. Our oats should be done today, and the canola is still curing in the swath. So I'll get that out of the way right now. Uh, oh, Hope and Susie are here as well. Hi, guys. Um, so I have a question about your channel name right off the bat. When I type in Enchanted Dreams, I see three options: 7071, Enchanted Dreams 70, and Enchanted Dreams 71. So, which is it? What is the correct one?
Well, I mean, I just type in Enchanted Dream 71, but I think officially it comes up 7166. Is how it
Another
comes
one.
up. Yeah.
So is it all one channel though, and they've just renumbered it, or
Yeah,
do
it's
you
all
have
one channel.
multiple
Yes.
channels?
No, I just have the one channel right now. However, next year I will have a second channel.
Okay, well, hang on to
I have the
that
name for it. Yeah.
because uh,
Yeah.
I will be asking about what your channel plans are.
Yes.
I just know that, and it's not that long ago that I started my channel. It was just the channel name. Then all of a sudden they assigned all of us a four-digit number. So,
Mhm.
you know, I didn't have to do anything, didn't know why they did it, but you kind of accept the you know, the progress.
Right.
um,
I think that's where the double sixes came in at.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that if someone were to ask me, well, how would you describe Lori? My answer would have been the words I would use are pink, frilly, and girly. Does that
Pretty
sort of
much, yes.
describe you and your aesthetic?
I believe so, yes. Spot on.
I wish there was a prize of some sort for getting that.
I know.
Um, what the people in the watching will not know is that initially you were set up in your other room,
Mhm.
which is your shabby chic room.
Right.
Well, essentially, what, like white and antique white and probably doses of pink, right?
Yeah, yes, it's pink, white, and kind of a off-white or cream color.
Yeah.
Lots of milk glass. And just because I have my teeny tiny sewing machine in there, it's called the Shabby Chic Sewing Studio. So no one's
So,
allowed in
so
that
how did you get to be so lucky to have two spaces?
room. Well, we're not very peoply people, so we really don't. So we really don't have company very often. And I'm like, well, those two spare rooms are just going to waste. So,
Yeah.
I already had one as a craft room and one was still a guest bedroom. And it's like the covers are collecting dust. Shabby
Yeah.
Chic Sewing Studio. So, and plus I had bought so much crap, I was running out of space. Let's be honest. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's wonderful and that's honest. Yeah, I remember some of the videos that you were doing when you were just getting set up there, and I thought, boy, isn't that nice when a person can indulge in the decorating part and in the uh, frou decorative elements. Um, so tell me, on any given day, are are one or both of your spaces um, clean and ready for a photo shoot, or are they a mess like everyone else's?
Okay, so the room I'm currently in now is my craft room, and it is a hot mess with paper all over the floor. I'm not even gonna lie. Where I missed the trash can. The Shabby Chic Sewing Studio is immaculate, absolutely immaculate. So, I
Oh,
guess over there is, I have a love for vintage milk glass. Um, and laces and things of that nature. So that's where I have all of that stuff. So it needs to be for me pristine because I just
yeah.
like well, I actually have a TikTok. Um and I do a daily devotional every morning on my TikTok channel. So that is the room where I actually do my daily devotionals every morning for my TikTok videos. Um but yeah, I
I think
absolutely
you're
love
the
it over there. And I like to just sit there because it has all of my favorite things in it and just look around. And plus, I have a beautiful view. The backyard and the field, and our neighbor across the field has goats. And, it's just the right and left side. Those two neighbors in the back have horses. So that's my view. So it's got a wonderful view as well.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a wonderful refuge and almost like a sanctuary kind of space where you
It is.
can
It
get
is.
grounded and, like you say, do a devotional. So, does that mean that you are on an acreage or something, or why do these neighbors have livestock?
Yes, we actually are surrounded by pastures. So if you sit on our front porch and look straight, it's a pasture, and he keeps cows in there. Um, that's Mr. Jack. I won't say his last name, but Mr. Jack, and they actually own the local feed and seed store in town. So if we need anything, that feed and seed store would have, we go there. They are our
Yeah.
neighbors across the street. We actually have over 5 acres, which is not really a whole lot for this area, but we have a ranch style home on 5 acres that we bought. I think August 19th was 19 years ago. So next
Okay.
year will be 20 years. We've been here, and we just have, part of it kind of sectioned off that's landscaped, and, we keep the grass cut and all that stuff. And the rest of it's pretty much just an open field where this used to be a pasture where the house was built. And our neighbor across the street, they actually bush hog our field for free, and they keep the hay. So for almost
Okay.
20 years now, we don't even have to worry about our field and the rats and, anything else that it may bring, being growed up, because he cuts it, and his benefit is he does the work, he gets the hay for free. So, and we don't have to worry about the field. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like the thought about rats, but anyway. And
Yeah,
you're, for those who might not know, you're in Georgia, right?
I am in Georgia. Yes, very small town.
Yeah. Well, that sounds lovely. And you know, when we did the addition to our house in 2018, and that's where I'm sitting. I didn't know anything about junk journals. I didn't know anything about YouTube. I didn't know anything about anything. So I planned it as an office, and I had an area rug, and this was going to be where I was going to be doing yoga every day. And
Oh,
I had an armchair and a lamp where I could do journaling, and oh my goodness, all the plans I had. And before you know it, one thing went out and another thing went out because, hey, I need places to store stuff. So it,
exactly.
it it's kind of crazy, and I'm really glad that you're able to maintain that little island, that little place of tranquility, because it
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
It is
Um,
amazing, and I'm very blessed, because I actually started out in 2019 on my dining room table, and
okay,
that
and
was
is
where
that
I was
when
at.
you
And then I'm
is that
like, okay, I'm collecting too much stuff, because 2019 was when I discovered, making handmade journals and fell in love with it, and
yeah?
so that's when I turned the first room into my craft room, um, and then I saw milk glass for the first time, and I absolutely fell in love. And then the laces and the fabrics and just, vintage jewelry and just all the things. And it would no longer fit in this room. So that's when I, took that stuff to the other room. So I am very blessed, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, so a few things. First of all, let's acknowledge some of the people that have come in
Okay.
since we started. So, Caroline on the hillside is here. Welcome, Caroline. Terry. Um, who else? Gigi is here. And maybe that's it right now. Um, anyway, okay, so you said 2019. Were you um so is that when your channel started? Did you know it, like, were you a crafty person prior to this?
I had done, like a lot of people, scrapbooking when my kids were in school. And then my husband and I, we've been married for 23 years. February will be 24 years, been together 25, 26. So I did make a scrapbook of our courtship and engagement and marriage and honeymoon. But once the girls graduated high school, I just stopped scrapbooking, and didn't pick it up when the grandbaby started. And then in 2019, I knew absolutely nothing about YouTube. I had never been on YouTube, never saw a
Yeah.
YouTube video, nothing. And then one day, for whatever reason, I was playing around on Pinterest and just saw a photo that caught my eye. And I kid you not, 3 clicks later, I'm on YouTube watching Gela Gustinelli make junk journals, which I like to call them handmade journals, and
Yes.
absolutely fell in love. And it's been, I've been a hot mess ever since. Just
It was the
absolutely
beginning
fell
of
in
the
love with
end
that.
for you.
It was. It sure was. So I blame Gail. It's all her fault. This obsession I have now.
Yeah. I think that story resonates with a lot of people, not knowing, somehow, stumbling into it and never looking back.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I
That's
think people who know you and are familiar with your channel know that you also have a full-time job. So I'm always
yes.
curious because I know how much I can get done in a day and how much doesn't get done in a day. So I'm
Right.
always in awe of those people who manage to work outside the home, have a channel, get videos posted, get projects done. How do you do it? Do you sleep or what?
Well, I've never been a good sleeper, so I really don't sleep that much. For me, 4 hours a night is a huge victory. Um, I have never been a good sleeper due to childhood trauma and things that happened
Mm,
there. You didn't want to go to sleep. So I think because of that, I've never been a good sleeper. So, like I said, for if I get over 4 hours, it's just like, the best thing ever. Um, for me too, this I found out when I started doing it was um, a huge therapy for me. I think because of a lot of the childhood trauma and things that happened and that I went through there, it really and truly is therapy for me. Um, so I just look at it as, when I come in here, it's therapy. It's therapeutic for me. I enjoy it. I love it. I just, and now it's like even hard to craft without making a video
yeah.
because I want to be with my friends crafting. It's like I
Yes.
can't sit and craft in silence.
So no wonder so many of your videos you're talking about, well, it's really early here. I need to get to work.
Yeah.
Well, so okay, but the mother in me just wants to point out that um it's not good for you or any of us to try to get by on that little bit of sleep.
Right.
So I would hope that you are trying to get some help for so that you would get more restful sleep. Um,
Well, I did one time, but I think there was several different medications that the doctor had put me on, and those did not work for me. Um, because even though I would sleep longer, it was like it was not good restful sleep, and I would feel drunk half the day. And I don't drink. I don't drink, so that was definitely not, a good feeling, and it just felt like I couldn't
yeah,
function. So
yeah,
I have tried the medication route with two different types of medication, and that just it
yeah.
didn't really work for me. So
And I guess that you're probably saying that melatonin, just the the body creates its own melatonin, so those little
right,
melatonin those probably don't work for you.
they didn't. I tried those two, like over the counter, those didn't work, and then
Yeah,
the two prescriptions just like I said, the way that they made me feel, I felt like I couldn't function. So
yeah.
I'm
You
like,
don't
I've
want to.
functioned better on the 4 hours of sleep as opposed to 6 or 8 hours on this medication and the way I felt all day. So I'll take the
Yeah,
4 hours.
yeah. That's true. Sometimes the cure is worse than
You
the
know.
disease. Now we had our typical conversation before we went live. Is there anything you want me to direct you to? Is there anything that you want to avoid? Now, obviously, I don't want to skip over your reference to childhood trauma. We didn't talk about that before. This is the first I've heard of it. Is that something you want to get into, or is that something you would prefer to avoid? Because I
I'm
think,
like I, told you in our chat before, I'm very transparent. I don't hide anything. I mean, on my channel, you get the real me. You get all of me. I have good days, I have bad days. I love Jesus. I am a Christian, but I've not always been that way. I've made lots of mistakes in my past, lots of bad decisions in my past. Um, but yeah, I'm open to anything. I'm very transparent. I have, you know, nothing at all to hide whatsoever.
Well, um, I, for one, am um, fascinated and grateful that you have that attitude. And I would say, based on who I can see in the chat, I think there's nothing but love and support present here.
Yes.
If you want to go into some detail about what it is that you're
Mhm.
having to deal with, I'm giving you the floor.
Okay,
If you want me
so
to go to something else, I'll go somewhere else.
okay. So I won't go into real in-depth details about certain situations that did happen. I was abused by my father. Um, he actually was 34 years older than my mother. My mother already had me and my sister. He had 10 kids with his first wife who died of cancer. Him and my mom got married, and he adopted me and my sister because our biological father, well, he never claimed me as his child. So, but he adopted me and my sister, and then they had my little brother. So, instantly, that was 10 siblings I gained, five brothers and five sisters that daddy had with his first wife. And then him and mom had my brother James. Um, but he was very physically and emotionally abusive. Um, there was of his first set of 10, like the youngest one and my mom are like the same age. They were born the same year.
Mhm.
So that's the age difference between him and
Yeah.
mama. Um, but I kind of think maybe it was because my sister looks just like my mom and I look more like my biological father. And my dad hated my biological father. Um, I never really had a relationship with him because, again, he didn't claim me. The only time he claimed me was, it's not funny. I don't know why I giggled. I could be inappropriate like that sometimes, but um, he passed away. Um, I do have a half brother and a half sister. We share the same father, and he didn't claim me as his daughter until they read his will. And he only did it then to make sure I didn't get anything, like I would want anything. But my dad couldn't stand him, so I'm just assuming maybe the fact that I look so much like him and I had his green eyes or have his green eyes and whatever. I mean, I don't know what was wrong with the man. I really don't. But he was very, very physically and mentally abusive. And all I wanted was love from him. Um,
Yeah.
I do remember, I will just tell you one incident. I was going to call it a minor incident, but I guess to a lot of folks it wouldn't be. But we grew up on a 200-acre farm. Um, we would have to go and check the fence, and there was a little creek, and the wire, daddy would have a habit of telling us to go and check the electric fence, and we would unplug it. And as soon as we got out of sight, daddy would plug it back up so that when we touched the fence, thinking it was off, we would get shocked. Um, so this particular day, we were down by the creek, and all of a sudden, daddy was there, and the wire was down in the creek. Well, I'm 6. So I didn't realize that, electricity, if it's in the water and you're in the water, you're going to get shocked. I was not aware of that at 6 years old. Um, and so he was, screaming at me to pick up the wire and fix it, and I'm thinking it's going to shock me when I touch it. So he grabbed me by the back of my hair and the water in the creek. And just when I thought I couldn't take another breath, he would raise my head up for about a half a breath, and back under the water, my face went again. That was the first time I ever remember praying to God. I tried bargaining with God, but I'd asked God just to let him kill me so my suffering would end. Of course, that didn't happen, but um, so I think dealing with a lot of that has really affected me in the long term as far as my self esteem needing to be accepted by people is something that I'm actually working with my therapist. I do see a therapist, so crafting's not my only form of therapy. Um, but yeah, it's really had a lasting impact and effect on me and my life. That abuse, yes,
Um, that is horrific.
yes. And like I
Um,
said, there's worse stories, but I will not get into those.
yeah,
But
I I'm well. My, I feel tears coming, and I haven't cried during one of these things
yeah.
before.
Well,
So
I'm
I'm
doing it
going to
now, and
do
I
my
apologize. But yeah,
no, no,
it's
no,
rough.
no. Don't apologize. I just want to say that um, what explanation is there for cruelty like that to
Right,
an
right,
innocent kid?
right.
And I am just so relieved that you are in therapy.
Yes,
I'm relieved that you have a faith in God.
yes,
I am relieved that you find solace in your craft room
right.
and in these activities. Um, I, I I don't know. I guess if I was any closer, I'd be giving you a hug right now.
Oh, I can
I
feel it. I
think
can feel the love. I I don't, I have several stories, but I don't really talk about my. Let's see. I kind of lose my words sometimes. Um, like not for sympathy or anything, but just to, I guess, in a way, remind people that you never ever know what someone's going through. Um, and just a little bit of kindness can go a long way to a total stranger. Because,
that,
if we don't tell our stories, we don't know what we're going through. Um,
yeah,
and I know for many, many years, um, I'm just going to come out and say it. I lived my life. I was not, I believed in God and I believed in heaven, but I didn't have a relationship with God or a relationship with the Lord. And, I wasn't saved. I had not been baptized. And to be honest with you, and I know it stems from the childhood trauma. I lived my life pissed off at the world. I really did. And I wasn't nice to people. I was mean to people. And it was just, because I was carrying around all of this trauma and I took it out on other people who, total strangers, family members, friends, whatever. Like I said, I'm in no way a perfect person. I've did and said things that, I shouldn't, but, it just goes to show you don't really know, even if somebody's mean to you or they hurt your feelings or whatever, what's driving that. I think we should show some kindness and compassion and, just try to see if you could figure out why is this happening? Why is this going on? Or, are you okay? Because we never know what someone's going
yeah.
through. And a lot of time
So
with trauma, you can, you know, take it out on other people. It was never intentional on my part, but it wasn't until I started my walk with Christ that, I realized that, that's what I was doing. And I am a completely different person now than, I was before I actually started that personal relationship with Jesus. So
yeah.
A little bit of
Well,
kindness goes a long way.
well, and I think we've probably all seen that poster, children live what they learn.
Right,
So coming from an environment with hate and abuse,
right,
how could you have learned anything but that? It had
right,
to be,
right,
it had to be awareness, therapy, finding religion, whatever, or a
right.
combination of all those things to change
Yes,
your outlook and know that you have to break the cycle here and now.
right,
Otherwise, it would have spilled over into your parenting, which then spills over into their parenting.
right,
And
right,
that's how some of these family dysfunctions go on for generations because
right.
nobody has broken the cycle along the way.
That is true.
So I
Yes.
think you deserve so much credit for rising above that awful, awful start.
Yeah.
And when you say you were 6 years old, I can picture a 6 year old kid, and um, I'm pretty well at a loss for words. I hope this man is no longer in your life. Um,
He actually passed when I was 15. Um, I forgave him before that. Even though I was still just 15 and not walking with the Lord. And, I wasn't walking with the Lord until about 6 or 7 years ago. So even as I parented my children, there was no mental or physical abuse. So that cycle was broken, but there was lots of screaming and hollering going on and cussing. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I did. And, I have since apologized to my adult children, um, for my actions and that kind of parenting. I had my son when I was 15, my oldest daughter, Angela, when I was 17, and then Veronica, the baby. She's like clung to mama like glue when I was 19. So at 19, I had three children and then found myself a single mother of three children at 19 for 12 years till I met my husband. So,
well,
um,
and I don't imagine that you would have had a lot of family support, given
my,
the situation.
well, mom was a good support. I mean, she did actually separate from daddy when I was about 13. So a couple of years before he passed away. But, we're talking this is the early to mid 80s. When my abuse was going on, it was in the 70s. And, back then you didn't talk about abuse. You didn't get involved in other people's family matters. You just
Yeah,
didn't do it. Um,
yeah,
and, here she is as a woman with three kids. And where's she supposed to go? She grew up in an orphanage. Her mother died when she was 9 years old of cancer. So her and my three aunts, her three sisters, actually grew up at Thornwell Academy, which is, then it was um, yeah, see, I go blank. So I have an orphanage. So they had to grow up in the orphanage. So, she didn't have any family support to get us out of that situation. And at the same time, you know, daddy was much older. So he was at home. He didn't work outside the home. Mom had to leave and go and work outside the home. So there was a lot that happened and went on that mom didn't know about. There's still a lot that happened that went on that my mother still doesn't know about. And I just feel like it would be pointless to tell her any details of anything else that happened because there were some other situations with so-called male family friends that where things happened. And I'll just leave it like that, read between the lines.
yeah.
That also happened. And, I never told anybody about that. Mom doesn't know about that. It's like, it's pointless to do this to her because I feel like she carries enough guilt for not getting us out any sooner. But as a woman who became a very young single mother who had also been in an abusive relationship because he was abusive to her as well, that's not always an easy thing to get out of. Um, so, I've never
Exactly.
blamed
We
my
don't.
mom for anything, or,
Yeah.
it wasn't her fault. It's all on him. He's the only one responsible for what happened.
Yeah. I think that that's a very mature, compassionate, and kind um, take on that. And the fact that you've
Yeah.
forgiven your mother, because um,
Yeah.
I wish I could remember the exact wording of it, but it essentially it's um, the idea that if we are hating or hurt, uh, essentially hating someone, it does us more damage than the person that we're hating. So
That is
that
true.
was
Yeah.
clumsy the way I said that, but the fact that you
That's
can
okay. I
forgive
totally
your
get the point.
mother
Yes.
um, is so much healthier for you. And if we're talking about how to continue with Lori's healing and wellness, then you're doing exactly what you should be doing.
Yeah. And
And I just
I forgave daddy before he passed away as well, because I needed that. I needed that for me, because
yeah,
forgiveness is for me. It's not for the other person.
yeah,
Forgiveness is always for us. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I did
And is
forgive
that
him before. So
and is that is that a direct result of your religious beliefs?
it was not, because I was 15 and I did not start following Jesus
Oh, that's
and getting a personal relationship with him till about like five, maybe five, 6, 7 years ago, I believe. So no, that was actually before then. Like I said, I've always believed in God and, heaven and hell and angels and everything that comes with it. But, I never went to church. I didn't raise my kids in church. I, cuss like a sailor. I, you know, all of these things up until about 6 years ago when I really started getting serious about my faith and my walk with God. And I think that, or I don't think, I know that has definitely changed me and the person that I am and the way I treat other people. I have more compassion for other people that I didn't have before. Because before, man, I was just no nonsense, whatever. If you were, let's just say, abusing, had an addiction, it's your fault. You shouldn't have did it. That was my mentality then. Like it's your own fault. But now I have compassion and understanding, and I pray for people, in a way that I never have before. I'm much happier now. I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but I'm a much happier
well.
person not being pissed off at the world, you
I
know.
think I
So
think that
yeah,
makes total sense. That makes total sense to me. And I
yeah,
just before we move on to another topic, I just want to say that that was incredibly mature and insightful for a 15-year-old kid to have figured out on her own that
right. Thank you.
forgiveness was going to do more for you and was essential to your own health and well-being. So
Right, right.
I just have so much admiration for you. And
Thank
and
you.
just one final thought. You're saying it was hard. Like what back in the day, what could your mother have done to get away from him and all of that and protect you girls, you kids a little better? That's still happening in 2025, where
Yeah,
women are, and even though there are shelters and there's more awareness and there's more acceptance and there's more understanding about the pressures on people, um, it's still very
right.
hard for people to do. So I think it's just
It
very,
is.
very generous of you to have forgiven your mother for her role in this. Um,
My mother is everything. She's always been there for me. She is absolutely everything.
so how old is your mother now?
Yeah. My mother is, she just turned, let's see, May 11th, 76.
Okay, so hopefully you'll have her a few more years in your life. So
Lord,
that's
I hope
wonderful.
so. Yeah.
I just want to maybe turn to not that I feel like I or anyone else needs to be protected from serious heartbreaking topics,
Right, right.
but I do want to lighten things up for a moment. And I happen to know that you have two love affairs going. One is with Tim Holtz, and the
Yes.
other one is with Rachel from Roxy Creations.
Yeah, you are spot on. Yes.
So, do you want to tell us just a bit about why you love these people so much?
I mean, I honestly, I don't know. I mean, even my husband knows that Timmy is my boyfriend. That's what I told him. So, like, if I happen to get lucky enough to be at home on a Saturday when Tim goes live, my husband will walk through and just hear Tim's voice and he'll be like, "Oh, spending time with your boyfriend again?" I'm like, "Yes, you need to move on. You are correct." So, um, but it's very strange because I see, you know, on YouTube that a lot of people have like their niche or whatever it is. They're either all about grunge or all about shabby chic or somewhere in the middle. I'm everything from the grungiest of grunge I love to the shabbiest of the shabby chic and everything in between. So I don't
Yeah.
really know how that happens, but it is true. I absolutely love it all. But
And
yeah,
it's
with
and it's,
Tim,
it's
yeah, with
sorry,
Tim, I don't
it's
really. It's okay. Go ahead.
I was I was just going to say it's wonderful um, that we don't have to choose. We don't have to put all our eggs in one
Exactly.
basket, and you can go
Right.
from one thing to another as the spirit moves you, and depending on how you're feeling, and there's no need to choose. Anyway, talk a bit about Rachel.
Okay. So Rachel, first off, I love her accent. I found her probably in 2019 as well, shortly after I found Gail. I think she was actually the next person I started watching. And, I found her through Gail mentioning her. And then, of course, Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. Those are the three where it all pretty much started. But Rachel, I love her accent. I think she's funny. Um, we have had conversations, outside of the comments through Messenger and things of that nature. And I mean, she is so funny. It's like it's unreal. Her sense of humor, just it's crazy. I just love her to death. And she makes beautiful digitals. I mean,
Yeah. As I was, binge watching some of your videos in preparation for this, I
oh
was
Lord
shocked
help
to
you.
see that way back, what was it, 3 years ago now, I think? Did I make a note of that? Uh, you started the Journal of Stitchery, and so did I. And
Oh
here you
wow.
were
Okay.
agonizing about you couldn't find a bunny.
Oh
I just thought it was hilarious. I think though, did you ever finish it? Because I did. I never bound mine.
yes, I think that when I finished, it was the second one that she started. That I
Oh,
had actually started when the issues, the medical issues started 2 years ago, and I'm still
yeah,
not back to stitching yet. So my hand's not
yeah,
there yet, but
yeah.
everything's
I
waiting for
thought,
me over in the studio. So,
look at this.
oh
This is a
wow,
Rachel package that I bought, still intact.
yep, that's about how mine are. I kind of hoard them, but I did start one book with some of her stuff. I also bought quite a few items from Mama Juju, which is Rachel's mom, that she had actually showed on, maybe it was Instagram, I think. So I was lucky enough to land some of those items, but I do have, a book. I think it was the journalist history that I have not completed. So, but I'll get there.
Okay,
I will get there.
you need to back up and say that again because I don't understand what you just said. What are
Okay,
you
so
saying about Mama
Rachel's,
Juju?
yeah, Rachel's mom, she calls her Mama
Oh,
Juju.
Rachel's.
Rachel's mother, yes. So I actually have,
Okay, now that you
yeah,
say
I have
that,
a, yeah, I have a purse that she made, and then some other things that could be used as journal toppers, and just other things that Rachel's mom has made. She is
oh,
amazing.
oh,
The apple
I
doesn't fall far from the tree on that one. I can tell you that.
well, and then there's Sarah too, who's no slouch.
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you why I was so confused because, of course, a week or two ago, I interviewed Mama Juju,
Yeah, I saw
crafting on
that.
the back 40. So
Yeah, I did
looks
watch
like there
that
are two of
one.
them in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, that is great. I think that, and you've bought a number, from what I remember from other videos, you bought a number of things from her. Have you ever bought that straw paper that she loves
Oh,
so
yes.
much?
Yes. Yes. I have the regular straw paper, and then I actually bought the colored straw paper that she has now too. The green, the blue, the red, green, blue, red, and I think like a neutral type earthy tone color.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoarding it,
Um,
so you know.
okay, your secret's safe with us.
Yeah, don't tell
And
anyone.
yeah, I remember one time making a comment on one of your videos, basically giving you a little, sort of giving you a little what for, saying, how in the world can I possibly concentrate on what you're showing when you've got these blingy this jewelry that is
Oh,
blinding me on. So I have to say, as you wave your arms and I see those flouncy ruffled sleeves and the rings, it reminds me of Tina. So
oh,
you're Tina Dabby Dabby Doodle. So you're probably I've never seen anyone craft in this kind of fancy dancy get up
oh.
before.
Yeah, and this is thrift store, you know, because I'm a thrifty girl. Every one
Well,
of my
that's
shirts come from a thrift store. Yeah, $4 a shirt. Can't beat it.
well, and right on. So I guess your heart would not break if you got some ink or some
Oh
paint or
no, it would
something like
not.
that.
Not over $4 now. No.
And do you have as big a ring collection as Tina does?
No, I have very few like costume type jewelry. The jewelry that I have as far as the rings and stuff, they're actually real diamonds or
The
real stones. Yeah, like this one here, that's actually a canary diamond, is what that one is.
well,
So I
well,
actually don't
well.
don't have a lot of the, and I'm not saying that to brag. It's just
Costume
that,
jewelry.
yeah,
Yeah.
I cannot wear the costume jewelry because I actually had on a necklace. Mother got it for me years and years ago that had an L on it, and I started wearing it, and literally the next day I had a green ring around my neck. So I can't wear something that's not, you know, at least sterling silver. So
Yeah. We're in the same camp on that field.
yeah.
Okay. You have mentioned thrifting,
Yeah, I love
and
it.
I know you're the only one in this gathering today that loves thrifting, so
Oh,
we might have to
yeah.
just have a moment of silence.
I doubt that. I
um,
love thrifting. I always have.
would you just talk about, now this is probably a year or more ago, when you scored all those antiquarian books? Do you remember those 100-year-old books?
Oh, yes. That was at an estate sale. And they were just trying to get rid of it. And I got 2 or 3 boxes of books for practically nothing. Just because it was like the last day and they were trying to get rid of everything. So
Yeah.
anything that looked old, I didn't even look at the book. If it looked old, me and my husband was just filling up boxes because it was like X amount of dollars, and I don't even remember how much. But it was per box. So of course we were stuffing as many of the, I was grabbing them and handing them to my husband. I'm like, put this in the box, put this in the box, put this in the box.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, I guess he puts up with that. So yeah, that was a huge
Well,
score. I got extremely lucky and blessed that day. Yeah.
so have you been taking them apart and using them for their covers and their
Not a
contents,
whole lot.
or are you
That's
hoarding?
something. Well, I have a few that I do hoard, which that wasn't from that collection of books that I have. They were a little bit more expensive, but still, for what they are, still very, very inexpensive. That I do hoard, especially my first two that I got. Yeah, they're like, yeah, I'll never take those apart. I don't think, but actually, not a lot because it seems like I do more soft cover journals. But here lately, I have been thinking, I really need to start using these books and the covers for making
Yeah.
hardcover journals. Yeah, especially now that my
Yeah.
hand's better. I mean, so many things were put on hold. Over the last like almost 2.5 years now. Of trying to get my hand, healed and fixed and back to some kind of normal state. I know it'll never be what it was before. But right now it's the best it's been in, 2.5 years almost since everything happened. So I'm hoping to get back to that. It's still a little difficult sewing in signatures. So I really don't like doing that on camera right now because I have to get out the needle nose pliers and it's a whole circus. The whole circus trying
Yeah.
to get that done these days. But I do want
Well,
to get to doing some hardcover journals.
and depending on their condition, you can always strategically add some of the fabric that you love and
That
have
is
the best of
true.
both worlds too.
Oh yes, for
Um,
sure.
yeah. Okay. So we do know that quite often, if we watch your videos, we are getting a health update because
Yes, ma'am.
honestly, when a person can be blessed in so many ways, but frankly, if a person is in pain um, or is feeling fearful because maybe there's a surgery upcoming or whatever, it's pretty hard to not have that spill over into our conversation and into the rest of our lives because
Right,
it doesn't get much more personal than our own health and
right.
suffering. So I was glad to hear that your last surgery has been so far a success and that you're
Oh
continuing
yes.
to get better. And I think we're all grateful to hear about that. But you, I don't know how much detail you want to go into. I know that before we went live, I did say when did all this begin, and it sounds
Right.
like it began. It seems in my non-medical mind, it seems very suspicious that all of these problems followed so close on the heels of a hysterectomy,
Yes, it did.
and that you're not out of the woods yet in terms of uh, so okay, I of course didn't know you before any of this. Has the problem with the throat and the polyps that you have that you still have to have removed, has that changed your voice?
It has, because it's real, compared to what it was, just real scruffy. Now, I did have many years ago, my thyroid taken out, because I had a cancer scare there. So I had it taken out, and after that surgery, there was some damage to my vocal cords during that surgery. However, it wasn't that bad. I just couldn't really scream really loudly. Um, which is can be a problem when I need to yell at my husband or no, I'm just kidding. Um, going to I mean, even at church, I like to get loud in church and it's hard for me to do that because when I try to go loud like that, it's like nothing comes out at all. It just comes to a halt. So
So when you
Um,
need to remind him to get those boxes of valuable old books, you can't even
I
yell and
know.
raise your voice.
Yes. So that did affect my voice a little bit, but the polyps have just made it so much worse. I did have one surgery to have one removed. I think I still have two. Um, but right now my focus has been, the hand.
Yeah,
The voice can wait till later. It's not like it's something that's going to get, um, worse with time or whatever. It's just, I'm having to take one step at a time. This
yeah,
medical episode that happened in 2023 um, just caused so much stuff because when that happened and everything went down, they yanked me off of all of my medications. So my hair started falling out. I do wear wigs because I had so much hair loss due to being taken off my thyroid medication and all the other deficiencies that I had in my body with, vitamins and this and that. Who knew all that stuff was so important, right? Um, it's caused hair loss. It has also caused tooth decay really, really badly. So I have lost my smile. That's been something that's been very, very hard for me. So right now we're in the process after the hand. The teeth are the next thing that's, we're trying to save up the money, and my husband's trying to work all the overtime he can so that we can get, my teeth fixed because, it kind of goes back to, the childhood trauma and not, low self esteem. And now I've lost my
yeah,
smile. It just seems like it's, one thing after another. So,
yeah.
yeah, as the hand continues to heal and I am happy to report it is so I can clap. It is so much better than it used to be. Just
Well,
the
I
two.
was sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
was
Yep.
thinking about you recently, and trying to put myself in your shoes, and I'm thinking, I really, I love my brain, I love my eyes, and I love my hands, and I honestly can't imagine what quality of life there would be if any of those three things were missing.
Right.
So to have, like, we talked before we went live, and when you said that your hands cramped up to the point where, they were kind of immovable,
Right.
immovable, um, and I imagine hurt too because it would be
Oh
like any
yeah.
muscle cramp.
Yes.
So yeah, we know how painful those are, and to have that last for so long,
Yeah.
like I can't wrap my head around it. So I think it's truly a blessing how far you've come and how you've managed to, um, well, maintain any kind of sense of faith and, work ethic as you've been
Mhm.
going through this. Like, it blows me away.
Yeah. It has not been easy. I will tell you that. I did do a video. I believe there's one on my YouTube. There's definitely 4 episodes on my TikTok where I tell my testimony of what happened to me when I was in the hospital and in the midst of that pain. Um, because well, I'll just tell it real quickly if you'll um, let me do that. But it was just
Go
like,
for it.
in a nutshell, all of a sudden I was no longer in that hospital room. I mean, I was experiencing that pain for a day and a half. That is absolutely indescribable how painful it was when my hands cramped up as tight as they did and locked. Um, and in the hospital room, it has the drop down ceiling tiles, so it has the rail. And I just fixated where the 4 corners met. And, I had already, of course, started my walk with the Lord and been saved and baptized and already changed so many things, about myself and my relationship with the Lord. And I just fixated on that, it was a cross. And all of a sudden, I was not in that hospital room. It was like a forest because I remember seeing trees. There was like a dead log that had fell that was like in front of me, and there was a really light fog, like a misty fog, and it had a very light glow to it. Now I did not see him, and he never spoke to me. that there was this overwhelming feeling of Jesus's presence there. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that he was there, even though he never spoke to me. And I just started talking to him, and it wasn't very many words. I just said, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I've got no more fight left in me. I simply can't do this anymore. And I said, please take me home. And as soon as I finished saying home, my pain stopped. The second I said home, my pain stopped. And there was so much peace and thankfulness that came over me that that pain was gone. I honestly, in my mind, thought that I had died and Jesus himself was taking me to heaven. That's what I thought. And then I started slowly waking up. And then I'm like, okay, so for the second time in my life, I have prayed to the Lord just to essentially let me die, you know, once as a 6-year old and then now as a 52-year-old. But yeah, slowly started waking up and I'm like, okay, so I've got to figure out what he sent me back for. And I honestly believe in my heart that he sent me back to tell people about him, and to tell my testimony, and that he is real. Better to find that out now than, after you're dead when you're cast into the pits of hell. That's not the time to find out. Some people will agree and some people will not agree. And I totally respect that. If you're not, if you don't believe in God and you're not a Christ follower, hey, I love you anyway, because, that's what Jesus does. He didn't go to the perfect people and spend his time with them when he was here on earth. He was with the sinners. He was with the tax collector. He was with all of these people that, society had actually, casted away. So it doesn't bother me. I respect your belief or your non-belief. And I love you. But yeah, I really, really think that he sent me back to tell my testimony and to spread the good news, I guess, about him. And amazing things have happened. But, this 2 years during this season that I've spent, in the valley, it has not been easy. I had some days I cried all day long. I had some days, I asked why. I didn't understand why this was happening. And for me, emotionally and mentally, I did not get better until I said, okay, I believe in you. I trust in you. I've spent time with you, so I know that you're real. Um, I know I'm going to get my healing one of two ways, either here on earth or when I get to heaven. Um, and I believe that with, my whole heart. I gave it to the Lord, and I said, if I don't get my healing until, I'm with my Father in heaven, just give me the strength to get through the pain while I'm here on earth. And that's when my whole mindset changed, with everything. And to be honest with you, that was kind of the turning point where everything went to this last surgery. And I will always believe that, the Lord had his hand on that scalpel, and the Lord was in that doctor's mind, telling him exactly and guiding him what it was he needed to do, to bring me healing of my hand. So I give, all the glory to him, because I do believe it's him and all
Yeah.
him. So
I love that, and it gave me goosebumps, and it reminded me, and I'm not going to get into my specifics, but it reminded me of a time where I too was at the end of a rope. I had come to a
mhm,
crossroads, and um, my thing was outside, out in a pasture where I could be alone, and basically saying, I surrender.
yes,
And it's surprising how those two words can make such a huge difference. Um, so yeah, I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, I think
I
mine was
think,
5 words, and that was, I give it to you.
yeah,
Because, I mean, I had to. And like I said, I felt and know without a shadow of a doubt that that was the turning point. And like I said, not only my mindset and healing there, but also the healing of my hands. So I just can't thank him enough for everything he did. And when I was walking and I was raising these 3 babies by myself as a very, very young woman, like I said, 19 years old with 3 kids, later in life, I always jokingly, before I started my serious walk with Christ and my personal relationship with Him, I would always make the comment, I didn't do it alone. Jesus had to have been there because there's no way that I did that by
yeah,
myself. And I believe that now
yeah,
more than ever. Even though at the time when I was saying it, I was not following Him. I was not, living a life that would make Him proud. Um, I still believe that, he was there and he had a hand in that. He knew what was coming. He knew when he was going to get a hold of me.
that, yeah, that's really powerful stuff you've been telling us,
And,
and just for the benefit of the people who obviously were not privy to our conversation before we went live, you did say that a doctor told you that, well, he was totally shocked that you survived because most people would not have survived. Your numbers and your some of the functions were just kind of rock bottom,
yeah,
and so I think that we you've said a lot of wise things here tonight, because
oh,
you've said about understanding that we don't know. It's sort of that expression about walk a mile in someone else's shoes. We don't
right.
know what challenges anyone is dealing
Hmm.
with. We don't know why people might be acting or acting the way they do or saying what they
Right.
say. So it's a good reminder to give each other the benefit of the doubt,
Yes.
and to sort of lead with love instead of criticism, and
Right.
um, so I just I just want to say that I am, yeah, I've been moved by what you've said here. Um, Now, you, of course, like none of us, have any guarantees that you will recover to the point that you were before this began. Um, but I guess those are that's reality. We never know what's
Right.
lying ahead for us, but it seems like maybe you're at a point of acceptance and peace, and
Yeah.
just eager to see where the recovery and the next surgery and perhaps the surgery after that will take you,
Right.
because
Right.
it sounds to me like you've turned a corner with this
Yes.
last surgeon and this last surgery that went so much better than previous ones.
Yes.
So what, like, I know you wanted to say something about, or at least I believe you wanted to say something about some other channel, some other plans that you have for your channel. So I think when a person is feeling better, feeling more hopeful, it's easier to make plans.
Yes.
So tell us what
Um,
you have in mind.
yeah. So I actually came up with this. I believe it was probably not long after this whole incident in the hospital and medical episode happened. And I would like to say that if my hand stays the way that it is right now and doesn't get any better than it is right now, it was totally worth it to have been able to have the privilege to spend that time that I did with Jesus. because not everybody is given that. And I think that is a special gift that he gave to me. And if there was ever any ounce of, what's the word? Doubt. Was he real? What, anything that whole experience totally took care of that, because I know, 100% without a doubt that he is real. And when I was at home, the first time when this happened, I was out of work for 10 months. And I did start, Bible journaling and Bible studying and doing daily devotionals and all of that. So I was just, messing around on YouTube one day, and I'm like, hey, maybe I should do like, a YouTube channel and do a daily devotional. So I actually typed in, like I was going to do a new account. I typed in Enchanted Dreams 71 devotional, and it was available. So I snagged it. So I've actually had that name for quite a while in that YouTube channel. And I do plan on doing a video to, go ahead and start telling people about that channel. Nothing has been, I mean, if you want to go over and subscribe, you can, but nothing's been uploaded to that channel yet. I believe I'm going to wait and start January 1st. And they're just going to be quick videos. They're just going to be, a daily devotional. It's not going to be, 30 minutes to an hour long where we deep dive into the Bible or anything like that. But I know for me, just getting up in the morning and having that little snippet of the Lord, I guess, to get my day started, I can't seem to function these days without that. For me, I need that. So it's just going to be a channel, just a quick daily devotional every day, a prayer, and that's pretty much it. But it is Enchanted Dreams 71 devotional.
Thanks for repeating that, because I was going to ask you about to repeat it, and hopefully someone will put that in the chat. So Enchanted Dreams 71 devotional.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And just for the benefit of what, or to give people an idea of what they can expect, how do you define devotional? Like, do you begin with a scripture? Is it just a
Yeah, it
prayer
is
and on a certain
actually,
topic?
I have it in my other room. But the one I'm going to be reading from, it's just a woman's daily devotional, and it's actually like a devotional coloring book. So it does have a scripture. So I'll read the scripture, and then it has another piece over here talking about that scripture. And then at the bottom, it's either a quote or a verse in the Bible. So that's pretty much all it is, but it is a scripture, is the daily devotional. And then in the, other text that's in there, it talks a little bit about the verse, not a whole lot, because these are all just one pages and it's not very big, but it does have lots of coloring in there that you can do. So I like to read my daily devotional and then, sit there and color and just ponder and think about the scripture. And then, like I said, on the side, it will talk a little bit about the scripture, but then it will ask you questions. Maybe just one or two questions, and then there is a spot for you to kind of journal in this particular daily devotional, answering those questions that it has asked you about that scripture or about your life right now and how it pertains to the scripture that you just read.
Again, this has been really, I don't know how people in the chat are feeling, but this has really been good for Hazel today.
Thank
That
you.
reminds me that I have a huge collection of daily devotionals. I need to find them and start using them, because anyone can find time for, something that's 5 or 10 minutes.
Yes, and that's all those videos are going to end up being, is they're going to be very short. This is not something that I'm doing to get monetized on YouTube and make money or whatever. This is strictly just to tell people about Jesus, read a daily devotional, hopefully something uplifting that people can start their day with. Because I have found out for me that, on the very rare occasion these days that I forget to do that and spend that time with Him first, my day is totally different than what it is when I do. And that's just
Yes.
my personal experience. If I spend a little bit of time with the Lord in the morning time, whether it's a daily devotional or just reading a couple of verses in my Bible, um, or just having more of a conversation with Him in the morning, as opposed to just, waking up and saying, "Thank you, Lord, for this day and my many, many blessings." Things that, we do sometimes just to get that task out of the way. Um, and I've been guilty of that before. But if I have just a little bit of snippet of Him in the morning time, it just totally changes my outlook. I'm different at work. I'm different with my family. I just can't say enough how much this has benefited me. Not only in the aid and help of healing past trauma, but the medical issues that I've been dealing with for the past 2 years.
Yes.
It's just amazing. It really is.
Okay, a couple of things. I want to read what Carol put in the chat. She says, "What a testimony, Lorie." And
Oh,
then she quotes John 16:33. "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." So that's a wonderful verse right
amen.
there.
Yes, yes.
And the other thing I want to plug, um, like I knew that Carol had a past history of Bible journaling. So when we were together in Canmore in June, I said, you know what? I feel like I need something like this. Let's do a live. And she agreed. And then we invited Angela and Jonna to join. And we've now had two live sessions. It's called Bible Journaling Reset. And
I, I,
so the
I think
last,
I saw something on that.
yeah, we just did one on this
Yeah.
past Sunday. We don't have
Okay.
October's date set yet, but um, I, this, it all seems like so many of these forces are all coming together and intersecting. So um, I just want to put in a plug for that. And of course, the replay of those lives is available to watch on any
Okay.
of the four channels that I mentioned. So people can
That's
tune into
amazing.
that if they wish. Um, I wonder too if you could just I don't know that did you really answer the question when I said how, I mean, other than lack operating on 4 hours of sleep, did you really explain how you managed to work full time and get videos done, and now you're considering a second channel, and like you
Again,
just are you very efficient or what?
I don't know. I think it's just, I think I probably got off track with it, but I know I had said, for me, it is a form of therapy. So I guess maybe for me, my YouTube channel and journaling or making handmade journals, junk journals, whichever you prefer, um, is a form of therapy for me. Um, so it just, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's just comes naturally. I mean, I don't know.
So
I guess
are you just
maybe for me, it's like self love and self care that I make sure that, like, my Bible studies or, daily devotionals and my personal time with the Lord is something that you just make time for because it's good for you. And again, this is a therapy for me. It's very good for me. I love it. It brings me so much joy. It puts me in a good mood. And I think that's probably how I'm able to do it, is because it makes me feel so good. It really does.
Okay, I just want to interrupt for a second. I want to say hi to Yvette, who is here for a while. Yvette, I will be sending you an email later today, so watch for that. Um, Teresa is saying that she tried to find your other channel, but she's not having any luck. Would it,
Okay.
um, could it be, should she try maybe Enchanted Dreams without the 71?
No, because I believe it
Or
is 71. Yeah, my computer is now in the other room as well. So I could
anyway,
pull it
why
down.
don't, yeah, it's, let's just, okay, if we can't get there today,
Okay.
let's just all keep in mind that we need to be watching for Lorie's, uh, yeah, and Carol can't find it either in the YouTube
Okay.
search.
Well,
So,
what I could do is
you
I
know,
could start linking it in my videos. That second
okay,
channel.
that would be good.
Yeah.
That would be something if you had a whole bunch of subscribers before you even have a video posted.
Yeah.
So that's good. Um, I believe that you're also the first person that I've interviewed in this series who has a TikTok. So,
Oh,
like, that's nothing that I have ever had any kind of an inkling of getting involved with. So, number one, why are you doing it? And is it worth your time and effort to do it?
I believe so because the majority of my content on TikTok is telling people about Jesus. So yeah, it's it's contemporary Christian music. It's some of them's like funny videos, but they're clean videos, appropriate videos to me. And I've even on TikTok because the snippets on there, they're really small. And they say 7 to 10 seconds long is all it is. So how
Oh,
many videos in 10 to 15 minutes can you churn out back to back when they're only 5 to 10 seconds each, because that's pretty much all it is. I do a lot of voiceovers with songs. I don't actually sing because y'all don't want me to do that. I can barely talk. Trust me, you don't want me to try to sing. So I lip sync to mainly contemporary Christian music on there, just little bitty snippets. Um, but there are some other funny things on there that, I guess lip talk to, if you will, because they're talking, they're not songs. Um, but the majority of my content over there is about Jesus and telling people about Jesus. So any form that I can use to do that, um, I'm definitely going to do that. So that's mainly what my TikTok is. Um, and a lot of people on TikTok, they'll do these videos like, you follow me and I'll follow you. You push all my buttons, I'll push all your buttons, this and that. Um, I did recently do a quick video like that because that's how you build your following on TikTok is, you follow me and I will follow you if your content aligns with my Christian values, because
okay.
I don't want to be following people and they're showing up in their videos. And I see so many that still pop up far too often for me, but it's like, every other word out of their mouth is a cuss word. I don't want to
Yeah,
follow. I can't because
yeah.
that, potty mouth is something that I did so bad. I mean, I had the mouth of a sailor. I just can't tell you how bad I used to be. And now very rarely does a curse word slip out of my mouth. But yeah, those are just really quick. I found them to be fun, and it was a quick way that you can let people know about Jesus. So that's why I started the TikTok. And then I did find out that, I can purchase items and then I can do videos and actually make a commission on items if people buy through my link. Over there, I've not been successful, but hey, it's okay. Not had a single sale yet, but if I never get a sale on there, it's okay, because it's more important to me to get the word out about Jesus, that
Yeah.
somebody hears his name, that somebody hears a
Um,
song about him.
Yeah. I just want to thank Carol and Teresa for their efforts here in the chat. They've put in a link to Yvette's channel. And honestly, Beth has been commenting on my channel, on my videos lately. And I didn't realize that Beth has a channel as well. She's Happy Place Crafting. So obviously, the whole idea here is that we support and help each other. We
Yeah.
give each other a leg up wherever we can. That's by mentioning each other, by subscribing, by watching and liking, and so on. So that is, um, just a reminder. That's I think that's a happy result of this series, to be honest, that so many people are learning about other people that we might not have ever come across otherwise. That, you know,
Right.
anyway. So, um, what now? I know that you have had ongoing, now, are they challenges or are they collabs? I guess challenges on your channel. And honestly, I don't know how or why, frankly, you put so much additional pressure onto yourself, like with your washy Wednesday and
Right.
shop your
Right.
stash or whatever. So is that making is that giving your life structure, or is it adding additional pressure to your life that you can't really handle at this point?
I guess it would be probably structure in the beginning. I was doing four. But right now with because I did do a video about, where my channel is going from here. I'm still gonna be making videos, but early on I was trying to work full time and turn out 7 videos a week so that I had a video every day and all the things. And I think there's been just a lot of reflection um over the past 2 years um since all of this, and that I've grown in my faith and walk with the Lord, and that I need to prioritize things a little bit differently. um Making sure for me that I always put God first, and then my family, and then my church family, and then my crafting, I guess. So I am going to continue to do the hashtag Crazy Washy Wednesday and the Shop My Stash. But the other two open collabs that I was doing, I will not be doing them this month. I'm not going to do them anymore. I'm going to have like 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so that, I still get my crafting time in, but I'm not, putting that pressure on myself and trying to spread myself so thin. I think when something traumatic happens to you, whether it's a medical event or something else, and the doctor, you touched on it a little bit, pretty much when I started waking up, came in and said, just looked straight at my husband and said, "Your wife should have died yesterday. She should not be alive." He said, "What happened to me, he had never seen anyone live through that." He said, "The way that my hands cramped up and locked, that should have happened to my heart, and they would not have been able to start it back." And I had no heart issues because they had me on the heart monitor through this whole ordeal. I think they said I had one spike in heart rate one time, and that was it. And when you go through something like that, I think it makes you take a look at your life, prioritize things a little differently if you feel like, that's what you need for yourself. Um, and with me growing stronger in my faith, I know at this point in time in my life, I cannot go without having God first thing in the morning time. There's no way. And I just told my pastor a couple of weeks ago, it's like, I don't just pray when I wake up, when I go to bed, I pray throughout the day. And I'm like, I'll probably pray so much. He's like, "Lorie, shut up. There's more people in line behind you, um, because, I really need him. But I am kind of changing the way I've got my YouTube channel and structuring. I don't feel like I ever had any pressure on myself because I love what I do and I enjoy what I do. Um, I just think that so often I was not present in the moments. You know, rather it be, time spending with my husband, actually being present, spending time with the kids, spending time with the grandkids, going to their, you know, games. Like we've got one that plays volleyball, one that plays baseball, and one that's in what is it, majorettes, I think, where you twirl the baton. So there's a lot going on. So we're actually doing that tomorrow night. I'm so excited I can't stand it. But yeah, there's I need to be. I feel like I've spent so much of my life with my family or friends or whatever the case may be, and not actually being present in the moment and enjoying and making those memories. Um, so that is the only reason that, I'm pretty much going down from 7 videos a week to 3. It's not because I felt any kind of stress at all about trying to do 7 videos a week. It's just I appreciate life a lot more now. Um, and being present and making those memories because life is fragile. And
you've provided a good reminder for all of us because, intellectually, we all know that. We've probably all said it at one time or another. But you have reminded us today that it is real.
yeah,
Um, and I just wanted to tell you that Teresa did manage to find your new channel, so that's
okay, thank
great.
you, Teresa. But
And the
yeah, I mean, it
reason,
just gave me a new perspective um, on life and knowing that we're not going to be here together. So we need to really be present in the moments with our family, with our friends, with our church family. Um, I'm even different at work where I'm more present there. Um, with my employees, I have about 50 employees that I manage on a daily basis in a very high paced environment. um it just made me realize how important it was to actually be present in those moments and make those memories with my family. That way, when I am no longer here, they have those memories.
yes.
So that's very
I
important to
just
me.
want to draw your attention to some of the other comments. So Denise Gardner is saying, beautiful. We are called to pray without ceasing. Caroline on the hillside said, wow, I was a majorette.
Oh,
That was the word you were looking for. And Yvette says, people say that prayer is the least we can do, but really it is the most we can do in any situation. And
exactly. I
Teresa
agree
is saying,
100%.
Teresa's saying that she used to research for a living. Don't tell anyone, but she may know where few famous people live nearby.
Oh, gosh.
So, so that she's a woman of many talents. What can I say? Um, okay, I think we need to start winding down.
Okay.
Soon. I will just put in a plug for another live that I'm doing this Saturday with Caroline's Craft Tree, Caroline Jensen. We are going to be and that's at Noon Mountain. We are going to be dyeing doilies and seam binding. And if you see the poster, that was a photo of some of the stuff that Caroline has done in the past. She has a series that she did. And when I saw it, I thought to myself, I must do this. So I've been throwing all these whites into kind of a hamper thing. And I'm thinking, it's time to get off the pot and actually do it. So we're going to be doing it this Saturday. There's a free supply list in either of our coffee shops if anyone wants to join in with that. So I hope some of you can tune in for that. I know everyone is busy. So I I just wanted to say that. I also want to say that next week, our guest is Eddie from Eddie Makes Art. He's very much a mixed media artist and a stamp and stencil designer with PM Artist Studios. So that is going to be great. And it'll
Wow.
be a novelty for us all because he's a guy. So
Right.
we'll get a little taste of that. Uh,
Maybe I'll end up with another boyfriend.
that would be a-okay. So, Lorie, before we, say our final goodbyes, is there anything else that you want to say? Um, like you've given us a lot of food for thought, but like, sometimes. Oh, I didn't ask you the purple question. How do you feel about purple? I
I'm
think
not
it's
crazy.
not your favorite color.
It's not. It's not. Purple and orange is just not my thing. And that is really weird because my oldest daughter, Angela, orange is her favorite color. Her wedding was orange. And then Veronica, the youngest one, her favorite color is purple. And I did make her a purple journal, and she actually takes it to church and writes down the scripture and things like that to study later because I'll try to go to church as a family. But yeah, just purple and orange are my least two favorite colors, and it's their favorite. So who
Are
knows?
you sure they're
I don't know
really your
why.
children?
Well, let me tell you a funny story before we go. So, things were like really serious. I guess the time that I spent being a single parent, we were dirt poor. But my kids had no idea. Also because I worked so hard, 70, 80 hours a week, some weeks, to make sure that, because of things that happened to me in my childhood, I was going to do everything in my power to make sure nothing like that happened to my girls. So my home, even being a single parent, not getting child support, that my home was the hub for my children and their friends because I did not allow my children to go to other people's homes or sleepovers. Very, very rarely. There may have been a couple of occasions, but yeah, I always made sure that my home was a hub for my children and their friends. And come to find out, my home actually didn't find this out till they were adults, though, but my home ended up being a safe haven for two of my daughter's friends because inappropriate things were happening to them in their home. So my home
Oh,
ended up being a safe haven for them. But yeah, I always told them. So I tried to keep things light and airy, and we joke all the time. I mean, when we're together, it is a laughing fest like you would not believe, and the grandkids have caught on to it, so they chime in. All we do is just pick and poke at each other and laugh and all that. But I always, how kids are always like, mommy, 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 mommy. So I would just look at them and I would be like, I'm not your mama. I found you in the dumpster. So I always called them dumpster babies. So I told them they weren't mine. They were dumpster babies. And then at one point I had my oldest daughter, Angela, convinced that she was actually from aliens, that the night I found her in the dumpster, aliens had came down and landed. So,
oh,
so really, I guess, they're not my children. They're my dumpster babies. So
and
yeah,
that
I thought that
explains
was a
their
funny
choice in
story.
colors.
That explains their choice
Um,
in colors. Yeah, because they're the dumpster
yes.
babies. Yeah.
And what about, I think you mentioned it earlier that, you're not that much of a people person. So I always ask guests, would you describe yourself as an introvert or an extrovert?
Introvert. I would rather be at home. I think I'm lucky that my husband's the same way. I mean, don't get us wrong. Because our goal to retire is to actually sell everything. And this was his idea. And we're going to buy a new truck. We're going to buy a camper, and we're just going to go wherever we want in the United States. So that is our retirement plan. Because it's like, we've been together like 26 years, and he practically helped me raise, the kids, and he has no biological children of his own, but he loves my kids like they are his, and these grandbabies absolutely adore him. Um, but yeah, our plan is to sell the house and, just travel. That's what we're gonna do when we retire. And I'm not
What's
even
the
trying to work.
timeline for that?
10 years, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so,
quite a while away, but
so Gigi is saying us too. So it looks like she and her
yeah.
husband have that plan. And Yvette says that her dad told her brother that he was hatched under a hot rock and looks
Ah,
like the mailman.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You got to keep
Uh,
humor in it. I couldn't let things get too serious. My kids never knew that we were, as poor as we were. They never knew all the nights I cried myself to sleep, not knowing literally where the next meal was coming from the next day. And that goes back to, everyone just be kind because you don't know what someone's going through. When me and my first husband had our son, Brandon, he was 6 months old and we were actually homeless. So, just be kind to people. You never know. Try to help out people if you can. Sometimes it can be with a prayer. It doesn't necessarily have to be, money or whatever. But yeah, just be kind and spread kindness. You never know where someone's been in their life.
I want to read two more comments and then I have another question that has
Okay.
wasn't in my notes, but it's just come back to me. Okay, so Teresa is saying that her sister told their baby sister that she was adopted and they picked her name out of the phone book.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then Yvette said that her brother went to his kindergarten class and said, I'm Don, I'm 5, I was hatched under a hot rock, and I look like the mailman.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Um, you've mentioned the challenges of being a single mother, not knowing where the next meal would come from, working a couple of jobs or extended hours to
Yes.
keep body and soul together. I remember, now I don't know if it was at the start of 2025 or if this was last year. You did a number of videos with, I believe it was some sort of a savings program with those sheets and those envelopes and putting money into them.
Oh, yes, I still have it. It's not gotten any more money in it, but I still have it, and it's still got the money in
So,
it where I left off. Yeah,
so was that, so what was, is that, was it like a New Year's resolution
it
and
was,
a kind of
and
a,
I failed miserably.
but I think you went on for a few months, didn't you?
I did. Yep. I don't even know how much is in there because it is still right here. Has not even been touched. Yeah, I put my llamas on there. That's another big thing for my crazy children is the llama drama. Um, but yeah, she still has. Yeah, she still has money in here. I haven't even touched her.
Okay, so that was the intention of this whole exercise was a sort of a fun or responsible way to have a savings program? Is that
Yes.
like what was the
Yes.
gist of it? Okay.
Yeah, it was just yeah, just to try to save money.
And did you come up with that or was that a thing that was going around at the time?
I had not seen anyone else do it on YouTube, but I think these little 100 envelope savings challenge binder thingies were getting really popular. And I think it says
Oh,
when you fill it up, you would have $5,050
oh,
when you filled them all up.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean that's
Um,
huge.
okay. I'll just read these last few comments and then we'll have to say goodbye. So Carol
Okay.
says we were going to downsize and went the whole other direction and are now living a multi-generational family life and loving it.
I
We do
bet.
have a travel van and getaway. And she's saying that that's a healthy balance. Denise is saying sometimes people just need someone to listen that doesn't judge.
That is true. Very true.
And Denise and Teresa is saying my mom used to take in everyone. At times there were 11 kids and 3 adults in our small house, 4 in diapers.
Wow.
That I hope that mother of yours got some kind of a reward or a medal
Right.
or a yeah. And Carol says, my brother told me I was left by the milkman, a blue eyed blonde child in a family of brunettes with hazel eyes, 10 years after they could not have more children. I'm
Oh,
completely recessive genes. I'm theirs. And that she has always had the house that all the kids come to.
yeah.
So um, Lorie, I can't tell you how grateful I am that you said yes when I invited you and that we were able to spend this time with you, that you were brave enough to tell a story um, of such importance and such so personal and so private. And um, I think it's also a reflection of your whole belief and your behavior that you're here to help spread a message of some
Spread the good
kind.
news. Yep. Spread the good news.
Well, spread the good news, but there was some bad news there too. And I guess
Yeah.
what I'm taking from that is that we can all triumph over our bad starts if we got a bad start or if we had a you know I think most people have something in their life that they've had to overcome. Yours is obviously
Right.
harder and worse than many others, so I appreciate that. I think I can safely say that everyone in the chat has been moved by you today.
Oh,
um, all I can say is thank the good Lord for waterproof mascara.
yes, for
You
sure.
made me cry.
I apologize. Yes.
And I think I can safely say that everyone in the chat and hopefully everyone who watches the replay um, joins me in wishing you a full recovery, pain free, many pain free years ahead. And good luck with the new devotional YouTube channel, because I think
Thank you.
that it's it'll be a little slice of something important that people
Right.
hopefully turn to over and over again. And Denise, I'm thinking, even though Caroline was a majorette, I'm thinking Denise might have to be named head cheerleader here. She always has
Oh,
such lovely things to say. um, Denise is saying this was one of the best and lovely interviews, ladies.
oh,
Um, and Gigi is saying, Lorie, thank you. You are a blessing. Love you. Teresa is saying, healing, love, and blessings, Lorie. Faith comes in all forms. And Carol says, Lorie, thank you for sharing your story. Teresa is saying, thank you so much for your vulnerability. You never know who might have needed to hear you today. Let's see if there's anything above that I need to say. Yeah, it's oh, so Carol just added a link to Gigi's channel. And of course, I will put in a plug for this series. This was episode number 20. There is a dedicated playlist on my channel. I think that I continue to be gobsmacked week after week, because as much as we are similar, we are also different enough, unique enough, and special enough that there's something to be learned from each guest each week. So I don't know if the playlist is up to the minute, but it's easy enough to find these videos on my channel. And Susie is saying, wow, 20. Yes, who'd have thunk it? And Beth from Happy Place Crafting is saying, fabulous interview, ladies, and hugs. So I hope you can feel all the warmth heading your way, because I can feel it coming my way. Take care, Lorie, and we will continue to watch you with love and support.
Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me. And thank you to everyone who come to watch it. And your prayers are certainly appreciated. They mean a lot to me. They really do.
Okay, ladies, good night. And we hopefully we'll see some of you on Saturday. And if not, then we'll see you in the next video and the next Heart to Heart. Good
All
night.
right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye, Lorie.
Goodbye.